Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's been a while. That's right. This is Ms.B, positively Ms.B. Happy December the 1st day of the last month of the year. I'm excited for so many reasons. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. I look forward to you following me in 2018 and years to come, Lord's willing. But I am doing this video today for so many of you who've been missing me and wondering if I was going to come back. So here I am. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Charlotta. I am excited for so many reasons. The most important one is I'm awake, I'm alive in my right mind, and the Father has given me the ability to come on live with you today with another message. Before I begin, as always, I like to say, Father, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to be a part of this international ministry. That's right, we are global at Storm Talk 365. And I thank all of you who are following me. We are really growing by leaps and bounds, and without the listeners, it could not be possible. So, Father, I thank you for this global ministry. I thank you for the friends that are following and are yet to come. I actually continue to order my steps and allow them to be used as an instrument, a vessel of honor for you and only you. It is not about me. It's not about entertainment, Father. So I ask you to continue to encourage me with your word and fill me with your spirit and walk with me and never take the Holy Spirit from me. So again, I thank you for all of those who are globally, whatever country you're in, whatever language you're listening to this in. I thank you. I thank you so much, Father, for allowing me to be global with you. Amen and amen. That's right, everybody. Hey, Tyrone. I'm excited. Why am I excited? Well, of course, today is December the 1st, and that means a lot of things to me. It is also my birth month. My born day is coming soon. It is the end of 2017, and it does not mean that it's the end, but it's closing into the beginning of another year, according to the calendar that you follow. I'm excited because I will be 62 years old. That's right, 62. Oh, will it be 63? Oh, yeah, I'll be 62. I'll lose track of my age, but I'm excited because at 62, the Father has given me the opportunity to go on a journey that I never thought I would be in at this age, a network CEO, 2 radio stations, and a lot of other things that I have not mentioned. But at 62, I thought I was ready to go and just play with my puppies. But the Lord had another vision for me. The title was, I think I put it up there, was Pruning Allows Growth. Sometimes you have to learn when to cut back, and sometimes it hurts. So I want to talk about pruning. Remember, I told you, if this is your first time watching, I always say that my messages have something to help encourage you to save your soul. And Ms. B, what does that mean, saving my soul? Always saved, sanctified, and set free folks talking about saving my soul. Well, in reality, I want to encourage you to, whatever walk of life you're in, to consider taking your spiritual walk a little bit more seriously. I mean, we all have something spiritual in our lives, but to take it a little seriously, because there are no do-overs, and what you do on this side of the earth will determine where you live on the other side. That being said, every message that I have, I always say, I don't feed you anything I don't eat. So the message is usually for me first, and then I share it with you. And that's what's happening this morning. But first, before I begin into the message, I would just again like to thank all of you who are following Positively Ms.B and Storm Talk 365. This is a learning experience for me. I have no formal training in podcasting. Everything is inspirationally given to me or self-taught. I have had encouragement for other people. Also, I'm still not comfortable with promoting Positively Ms.B. I mean, there's so many things, you know, all the network marketers and the branding experts and all these people are saying that I have the potential to do personally, but I'm really focused on the network. I'm just who I am and what I do. So I'm working on that. So today is the first day. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again expecting different results. So I have to pay attention to the people who know what they're talking about. So first and foremost, let me tell you a little bit just before we get into the message today that Storm Talk 365 has had as many as 40 podcasters at one time. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but if you are a follower of Storm Talk 365, you will notice that the podcasters are downsizing in numbers. That is no disrespect to them. It's just that now I have established some guidelines that are not always comfortable or practical for other people, and I encourage them to either move on and stay in podcasting or whatever their heart's desires. But if you notice, there are some podcasters who are no longer with Storm Talk 365, and they did not deem it necessary to announce it, and that's okay. So I'm letting you know, as the CEO of Storm Talk 365, there are some downsizing policies. That's right. There's some things going on that has encouraged people to not be a part of the network, and that's okay. I'm excited because, like I said, sometimes you have to prune back to grow, and yes, I have puppies, and that's okay. So what has happened is right now, and there'll probably be a few more before January the 1st, but our platform is really growing. You can now hear us on Alexa through Amazon. You can hear us on Play FM and a few others. But anyway, we've been carried a lot of different places, more than I even thought. I had to Google to find out just how popular I was. But that being said, I have to expect a little bit more from the podcasters, and not everybody's schedule or interest is the same. So as we grow, there's a level of expectation that has been increased. So again, if you want to follow those podcasters who are no longer with Storm Talk 365, all of their podcasts are archived on iTunes and YouTube and SoundCloud. Those three places are archived. You can also hear replays on Twitter and Tumblr and a few other places, but mainly go to the YouTube channel if you want to catch up on any archive episodes of any podcaster that is no longer with us, and I love them all. And that being said, Storm Talk 365 at this time is no longer actively looking for individual podcasters, especially those who've never podcasted before. I've trained a lot of people, and that takes a lot of time. But now that we've grown to the point where I have to expect a little bit more, I just don't have the energy that is required to train people and to constantly give them encouragement. I'm only looking for people who have already been established, and you may see some of those, and we call those podcasters, well, they're not actually part of the network, but I'm just excited. Can you see the smile on my face? I'm just excited. There's syndicated podcasters such as Janice Lee and her two friends on Faith Mama Mondays. They come on SoundCloud every Monday at noon on SoundCloud, and they allow me to rebroadcast that episode on Spreaker and all of the other platforms at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. We also have had Married Men Don't Talk ever since I started. They are on the Blog Talk Radio platform. Ellis Crum through Survival Radio Network. Why Church People allows me to broadcast his podcast. So those are the type of people that are coming on board to Storm Talk 365, already established. So that being said, yes, this is my born month, and I have a lot of changes. Hey, and I have a lot of changes going on. So what is the message today? Sometimes you have to cut back to allow growth. And this message is for us to understand at the end of the year, a lot of people want to lose weight and change their budget. And, they come up with all these things that they've been trying to do all year or years before. And then they say, well, this is the year I'm going to do it in 2018. And so for me, this is for me. I'm not a resolution maker, because if I can do it, I can do it today. Why do I need to wait another day? If it needs to be done, it needs to be done now. So for those of you who are looking for resolutions on 2018, why not start today? Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. So what do I mean? Sometimes you have to cut back to grow. So let me just tell you a little bit about what cutting back means. One of the things that a lot of people do, first off, when they say cut back to grow, they want to diet, D-I-E-T, or change their eating habits. Where in reality, you don't change your eating habits, you change your lifestyle. In other words, you can change your eating habits, but if your lifestyle doesn't change, you're not going to lose weight, you're not going to get healthy. in order to cut back to grow in your health, you have to cut out the things that are not positive for your health, whether it's Pepsi Colas or chocolate or anything, fried foods, anything. But my suggestion to you is, especially if you are not disciplined, don't try to do it all at one time. There's so many plans for changing your eating habits, but make a decision to cut back one thing. And if not cut back, cut it out one thing at a time. You'll be surprised how cutting out just all fried foods or only fried food once a week. Start out small to give yourself a chance to adjust to the lifestyle change, because your body, number one, is going to be shocked to be denied all of that negativity. And number two, you have to be emotionally ready to cut back in order to grow. So what does that mean? You cut out the things that are not healthy for you, and you realize that your body is actually rejuvenated, is replenishing itself with healthier options that you're eating. So what about your relationships? Cut back to grow. I have to say that I've had to cut back my relationships. I've been, as an only birth child between my mother and my father, I grew up, and the only real access I had to family was through relatives and cousins. And I never really had, a lot of brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts, and, I was kind of isolated. I was the, But even then I had to cut back. Why do you have to cut back on relationships? Some of you are attracted to toxic relationships. Some of you are attracted to just having attention. You just want to feel needed. But if you sit back and take time and disconnect from everything else and find out who you are and find out who people are to you, then you realize maybe I need to cut back. It's not necessarily important to have a lot of people around you in order to love them or to feel love. Find out who you are. Get in love with yourself. Find out what you like. Cut back to grow. If you cut back on having so many people calling you all day, in and out of your house, always, telling you their problems, there's just always something going on. Find some peace and quiet. And then you realize, wait a minute, I am important to me. You have to cut back the outside noise sometimes to grow personally yourself, to grow spiritually, to grow professionally. Let's talk about growth professionally. Cut back to grow. Not everybody that says high five, good for you, is really in your corner. They're waiting to see what you can do so they can undermine you. Or if you do it too quickly or too fast, they want to say, you don't want to do that. And then they want to give you advice. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut and cut back professionally and just do it, just like Nike says. Too many people in your business can add to confusion. And so sometimes you have to cut back the noise from other people interjecting their opinions, and you find yourself falling along a path that really wasn't designed for you, but it sounded good coming from somebody else and you thought it was a good idea. And then before you know it, wow, you're stuck into something you really don't like. And then what you got? You're living their life through you. So sometimes you have to cut back how much you tell people and how much you allow people to influence your thoughts. And don't let people tell you that's a dumb idea. It's just not their idea and they don't agree with it. So sometimes you really do have to cut back the outside noise professionally. So we've talked about cutting the noise out as far as professionally and relationships. But let's go a little deeper. Sometimes we have to cut back on how many people feed into us spiritually. Cut back to grow, and I, for one, let me just say this. Yes, I started out with KDGDS Radio doing a 10 a.m. morning show for him, and he wanted his 2 hours, and so I tried to keep that for him, and I said, that's not going to work. So I kept doing it even after I left KGDS Radio after a short while, and my shows were averaging 45 minutes. And I didn't want to come on if I didn't have anything to say. So, and I told you all that I'm not going to come on just to be seen or just to be heard. But there's a lot of people out here, especially since I started. That's a good idea. Ms.B is doing it. Ms.B is doing it. Let me do it. But why are you really doing it? And what do you really have to say? Are you really helping people, or just really encouraging yourself to say that you can do it? And not only that, the same way some of you are watching me now, be careful, even if it's me. Don't let everybody sow into your spirit. Sometimes you have to cut back spiritually to grow spiritually. Not every live video is for you. Not every message is for you. Not every message is delivered in a way that you can understand it. So pray for wisdom and discernment on who to listen to, who to allow to sow into your spirit. If it sounds good and gets you all emotional, that's okay, but is it really benefiting you spiritually? What have you really gotten out of it except for a temporary emotional high, and everybody's hooping and hollering and crying and talking all kinds of ways, and then you still have the same problems after the video's over. I don't want to get you emotionally high. I want you to soar spiritually. Emotionally highs will let you down, and what do you have left? A deflated ego. Some people get really depressed when the things that they listen to on some of these podcast ministries or live videos, or even going to the church, they get all hyped up and yeah, it's just like, they just cheer you on, and then you go home like, but how am I going to apply it in my life? So that being said, let me just tell you a little bit about what you can expect from Positively Ms.B. This is not to criticize anybody's method of delivery or choice of message or choice of messenger. That's not what I do, because I'm trying to get it right myself. But I'm letting you know that if you decide to follow Positively Ms.B, I may sometime get emotional, but I'm going to be more teachable. Sometimes you get tired of the hooping and the hollering and the shouting and the asking for the money and the tears and all of that. You just want to be talked to. And that's what you can look forward to with Positively Ms.B. I'm just going to talk to you. I don't have any degrees, and they say I'm an evangelist, but they need to understand that we all evangelize. If we take our relationship with Christ seriously, we are all evangelists. We're supposed to go out and make disciples of others. And a lot of people stay within their four walls, within their denominations and among the like kind, and they call it evangelism, but they only associate with people in their own denomination. That's not evangelizing. You see the same people on the same programs in the same churches, in the same circles, but who are they evangelizing if nobody new is there? So if you follow Positively Ms.B, that is what you're going to get. Different topics, sometimes straight from the heart. Most times I've already had the message from the Father and I'm sharing it to you. But all the time it'll be scripturally based. Even if I don't quote a scripture, trust me, it's something that's coming from the scriptures. But I'm not here to browbeat you or to criticize you, to condemn you. I'm not here to hoop and holler at you or to tell you you're going to hell if you don't. I'm just going to tell you why I do it, because I don't want to go to hell. But that being said, sometimes you have to cut back to grow. And again, the message today is be careful who you let sow into your spirit. Be careful how many messages you listen to, because if they don't agree, then you're confused. One person says, I just use an example. One person say you're going to hell if you get a divorce. Another person say if you don't get a divorce, you're keeping yourself in bondage. So just pray for wisdom and discernment of what the Father wants you to hear. And again, if it does not edify you and help you to understand that your soul is at stake, not just your life here on earth, but your soul everlasting. So many people are focused on how to live now. Get that car now, get that house now, get that job now, get that mate now. You can do this and you can do that now. But is it really preparing you for the later? Now or later? I would prefer to prepare you for the later, because if you are prepared for the later, the now will always be taken care of. He said, if you seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and then all of these other things will be added to you. So many people are getting the things added to them, and then they want to take Christ and say, well, I ain't got time for him right now because I got to work this third job to make sure. I don't have time now because I got to go to this and do that. But if you don't make time for Christ, why should he make time for you? So that being said, the message today is sometimes you have to cut back to grow. And that means cut back as far as putting negative things into your spirit, negative things into your soul. I always use the acronym, I don't feed you anything I don't eat. That's why I started out with the diet. What spiritual diet are you on? And why wait for the first of the year? Get your spiritual diet together now, and everything else will fall in place. You have to cut back to grow. You have to lose weight in order to grow the right way physically. You have to cut out toxic relationships in order to grow in other relationships that are waiting for you. I mentioned that, growing up, I relied on my relatives to be my family because I didn't have any biological sisters or brothers to grow up with. But that doesn't necessarily mean there were not other people out there waiting to love me, but I just couldn't see it because I was so focused on what I wanted. sometimes you're focused on what you want and you can't see what's already there for you. It may be something better than what you even want. You go to the car lot and you're so focused on that red Mustang and you just got to have it, and it's got 200,000 miles on it, and your possible water damage, but you know you want that. And then there's another car over there. It's red, but it's not a Mustang, and it has low miles, never been in any water damage, and it's just sitting there waiting for you, but you're just so focused on that. Do you really want something that may or may not last when you can go to something that looks a little bit like that, but you just never thought about considering it? Maybe you should consider a different type of ministry. If you're going to church for 20 years and you got the same problems, nothing new, then that's not spiritual growth. You just stagnated into a relationship in a denomination that serves no purpose. Go where you're spiritually fed and led, where you can prune back to grow. So that being said, everybody, this is Ms.B, Positively Ms.B. Thank you, Jojo. I really appreciate it. I have some people from other countries, and Jojo is one of them. Ever since we met 2 years ago, he's been making pictures for me and supporting me. I really just love him. He's just an amazing Christian man. His children are very, very beautiful. His wife, he's a family man. So we have crossed the lines, not only of denominations, but we've crossed the oceans and become friends. So thank you so much. Blossom, you're supposed to be asleep. I just thought about that. Blossom Rogers, she's also a podcaster. She has a new podcast coming on every Sunday at 12 noon East Coast time called Real Talk with Blossom Rogers. She has been with me for a while, Under the Fire. And we just couldn't get those kind of podcasts going. So now we're just going to start a new season, Real Talk with Blossom. I'm co-hosting with her every Sunday at 12 noon. I'm also the co-host on a few others, but two of them are Ellis Crum on Sunday afternoon with Trust What God Allows at 2 p.m. East Coast time. And I'm also a friend of his on the Survival Radio Network every Sunday afternoon at 7:30. Why Church People, Ellis Crum and friends, Lady D and myself are co-hosting with him every Sunday on Blog Talk Radio, Survival Radio Network. So I'm all over the place. But that being said, hey Charles, that being said, I just want to let you know sometimes you have to cut back to grow. Pruning may hurt. But in the long run, when you see the new blossoms, when you see the new spuds, the new buds, you'll be like, that was worth it. So as we come to the last month of this year, think about what you want to cut out, what you can cut back and allow room for other things. Clean out your closet. They said don't want for something new when you're holding on to the old stuff. How can you envision a closet of new clothes if you keep holding on to the old? I made a video a little while ago saying it doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit any longer, don't hold on to it. If the relationship does not fit, don't hold on to it. I was talking to someone earlier about how to recognize if you're really worthy of having a relationship with them. Nobody's too busy to return phone calls. If they don't return your phone call in a timely manner, if they ignore your text messages, but every now and then they communicate with you, are they really just testing their limits to see how much you're going to allow them to get away with? Don't allow that type of relationship in your life. If you're not important enough for them to return a call on a timely manner, and you know that they are in a position of professional authority, are they treating everybody that way? Taking their time to call people back, taking their time to answer text messages? Sometimes you have to let boundaries be set by yourself and not other people. And that means cut back in order to grow. So regardless of how important you think that relationship may be to you, evidently it's not important enough to them. So cut back on those toxic relationships. Cut back on the toxic food. Cut back on the toxic, non-beneficial spiritual relationships, because going to church is not the same thing as being churched. Sometimes we're being churched and don't realize it. You're accepting the limitations of the denomination and the leadership, and that's not where you need to be. Allow yourself to grow where you need to go. That being said, everybody, I promise not to keep you long. Thank you so much. This is Positively Ms.B. And no, I did not work on my website while I was away because I did not know really what I wanted it to represent. So prayerfully, the Lord will continue to guide me with that. But I am at www.positivelymsb.com. I also have a fan page, Positively Ms.B, right here on Facebook. I have a few other pages, but he's leading me in a whole lot of directions. So therefore, I'm really excited about Mars Smith Fry and my daughter Janice Wilson taking over more control of the networks to allow me to move on into other areas. So thank you so much to Janice Wilson, my daughter, who is the She's really the boss. You know, I can give her a title, but Jamisa's really the boss. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? And Myra Smith-Fry, she's the executive administrator. In other words, she's a go-to person. You know, she's a liaison between the podcasters and the network, and she's doing a wonderful job. She's been in podcasting for a long time. She, in her own right, has the porch, but she also has other things going on in ministry. Look her up, Myra Smith-Fry, the executive administrator for Storm Talk 365. She's my go-to person for the podcasters. So I'm moving on to some other things, and the Lord has given me directions on how to allow other people to step up and help. So again, this is Ms. B, Positively Ms. B. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to be here every day. My goal is to be here every day. But if I don't have anything to say from the Lord, and trust me, I got a lot of things I want to say, but is it really necessary to say? And that's what I'm finding on a lot of these videos. They get on here with their opinions and their emotions, and, you know, they're just all excited about this. But, you know, for me, my mission is to encourage you to grow spiritually, and not to heighten you up or hype you up emotionally, and then you fall and you have nothing to go on except, oh, that was a good message, but it's not benefiting you. So I pray that today that you got something from cutting back. May hurt a little bit, but you have to allow pruning to grow. And so that being said, this is Ms. B, Positively Ms. B. Thank you all for joining me. I am excited about December for so many reasons, but one is because it's the last month of this year. Make it worth it. Make it happen. Go into a brand new year with excitement and say, okay, I did it. Now, what am I going to do next year? But of course, as I said before, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Today is waiting for you to do something special today. So make today happen for you as well, everybody. Thank you so much again. www.positivelymsb.com. Have a blessed day. And I don't know when the Lord is going to put me back on here, but when I do come on, I will let you know that I'm coming on. But you can expect me 10 a.m. East Coast time when I do. And I'm trying to limit it. So that being said, everybody, I pray that I see you soon. Bye-bye.